Welcome to Charity Therapy, the podcast where we explore the ups and downs of the nonprofit sector and answer your burning questions. I'm your host, Jess Birkin, owner of Birkin Law Office, and I'm excited you're here. Imagine hanging out with me and my super smart, funny nonprofit expert pals. You get to ask them anything about your nitty-gritty nonprofit life and get their wisdom for free. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just strapping on your nonprofit boots, we're here to share stories and remind you you're not alone on this journey. So get ready to join the conversation and bring me the tough questions. I ain't scared. Ready to rock? Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Charity Therapy. Today, I am so excited to welcome back Patrick Kirby to the pod. Patrick, you may remember, is a fundraising consultant behind Do Good Better, host of the official Do Good Better podcast, and the author of multiple books. Patrick, thank you so much for being here.
I am excited to be back on. Thank you for having me, number one. And I have had this on my calendar circled with several iterations of
stars
colors.
And smiley face emojis.
Yes. This has been the highlight looking forward to of my week. So I'm very glad to be with you and back.
Awesome. All right. Well, before we kind of get started, obviously we are recording this March of 2025. Fundraising is on everyone's mind right now. So I thought you would be the perfect guest to talk with me about this because my clients, even when things are not dire and crazy in the world, clients often just come in with some perceived notions about fundraising. I work with a ton of startups, and they often have thoughts about fundraising. And those usually fall into one or two camps. Either they think money will fall from the sky as soon as they get their C3 status because we're a nonprofit, so of course. Or they may think fundraising is so difficult, so daunting that it's always going to be the worst part of the job, and they have a lot of anxiety around the fundraising. What do you say to those folks in those camps?
I acknowledge that. It probably does feel like that, but I would say you're looking at it from, I think, an interesting angle. I would suggest this. You'll never get money unless you ask. And asking doesn't have to be difficult. It just has to be an invitation for them to give to an organization that they're already aligned with, but they need to know that you need the money. So I think of this as a really good opportunity to meet cool people who might be great board members one day. Meet cool people who might be advocates on your behalf. You're going to meet cool people that could apostatize your mission to other people that you didn't even know existed, but you have to go out and meet them. And so don't think of fundraising as I need to ask a bunch of people like you're Oliver Twist and you're like, oh, please, sir, can I have some more? Don't think of it that way. Think of it as an opportunity to meet interesting people, to build your network up so that when you do need something, when you do need to activate it, you've got folks in the hopper. Don't worry about it. It's not that bad. In fact, dare I say, it's fun if you take it that approach.
I love that answer. And it is a little bit fundraising is one of those things that brings up your inner fears. And so it's kind of a good opportunity to be a little bit mindful, be a little bit self-aware and be like, oh, I'm having this thought about it that's negative. I wonder where that comes from. Kind of unpack your own stuff around it because it's getting in the way of you meeting cool people. I love that frame.
And almost think about it as be self-aware enough, know to how does people asking you for money make you feel? Do the opposite of that. And then you're going to feel great, right? So if it feels really weird, if someone comes up and asks you Jess, I need $5,000. You just stare awkwardly at them. If that doesn't feel good to you, don't do that, right? Start a conversation. And in fact, just a thought. Find out a little bit more about them to even see if they are aligned with your mission before you make an ask. So don't get in your head about this. Just meet friends, make friends, be friendly. And I think you're going to have a better time fundraising.
Yeah. It's all about how you frame it. And if you frame it as, I can't, this is scary, I'm anxious, people will never, then of course, you'll get exactly what you planned for. Okay. With that, let's dig into our listener question. I think this is a good one. I'm excited to unpack this with you. All right, here we go. I'm relatively new to nonprofit fundraising and development, and everyone I talk to agrees that this is a very hard year and they've capitalized. very hard year
Yes.
for everyone in the field. And I assume we're talking about 2025 when they say that.
Yeah.
I feel like Oliver Twist asking for a bowl of gruel, and the stress and pressure of this job is getting to me. Is it going to get better? How do I survive this?
It's a really good question. So again, I want to acknowledge that, yeah, it probably feels a little daunting, but you're also probably reading the news a lot and you're not talking to the people who are your stakeholders and your cheerleaders. Here's what I would suggest. Reset your brain to not worry about what could be. Have a conversation in real time with those that love you the most and express that. Be honest and be transparent about it. Like, I feel a little bit weird about how this fundraising year is going. I would love your perspective on how it feels to you as the donor, because they might have a completely different understanding, completely different vibe. And they might say, well, yeah, it's probably hard, but we still love you. We still believe in you. We're still supporting you, which will make you feel better in the long run and the short run too, by the way. I think we assume a lot and we don't go to our donors. We don't go to our sponsors and we don't go to our leadership and get board members and people who are volunteer leaders. We're not going to them to talk to them about this. We are assuming because everyone else thinks it's hard and everyone else thinks it's difficult, that it must be difficult for us too. But here's the thing. You have a lot of people who believe in your mission. Go back to them, talk to them about that, and then really ask them for a part of a solution. What would you do in a situation like this? How do we tell our story to people who will be interested in what we're doing and trying to make our community better? That conversation alone will open up a bunch of doors. It'll make you feel a lot less alone, which is a real big challenge in the nonprofit world, especially for fundraisers. But it'll also get you realigned with your donors, and you're having a conversation with them and a touch point that doesn't ask for cash, which is exactly what you need to do with all of your donors right now. You have to get them to understand what the impact that their gift has been making. You have to thank them profusely. You have to make sure that they love what you're doing as much as you love what you're doing. And if you can have all those conversations that doesn't mention money at all of a sudden fundraising is going to be a lot more simple for you as well, because you've done the due diligence of touching base and having conversations with them that doesn't involve them acting like an ATM, but it acts like a partner to make your mission do better.
I love that. I also think you'd hit on something there that you've probably been watching a lot of news. And I think that's something that we discount, the amount of impact that we go into a reality tunnel, right?
So true.
And if you've got TikTok or whatever, the second you click like on something that's news related, now the algorithm is serving you more and more and more of that. And so we have to be mindful of what reality tunnel we are actually being contained by, because your reality tunnel sets your mindset. And so if all you're seeing is sort of doom and gloom and negative and this and that, I almost want for this listener to do like a full news detox. Like Megan and I did that in February and it was amazing.
Yeah.
We do like a week in February where we just work like on something new for the firm. And this year, because this is a very hard year just to be around everything happening, we were like full news blackout. And even to the point of like conversations where if one of us raised the topic, because all roads seem to like lead back to the news cycle, we would just yell like blackout at each other and be like, oh, done. And then I would really recommend this listener start like literally tuning your algorithm. Like if you're on TikTok, search up Hope Corps. If you're on TikTok, search up some nonprofits, search up the like people like SB Mowing who go like take somebody's abandoned front yard and like mow it and do good deeds. And then you happen to see in video part 2 that the community all like raised all this money to fix the old lady's driveway, and like fill yourself with the content of people care about things and they are willing to give money to something they care about, and get out, like break your algorithm from putting you in this reality tunnel where everything is hard and everything is doom. And I think that's good advice for like everybody.
Yes.
But fundraising and nonprofit folks in particular, because so much of it is in our mind.
I would say most of it's in our mind. First of all, I would like to let you know that your algorithm and my algorithm are completely the same, since SB mowing is on the top of my list all the time. So that's a great shout out.
What a great gem, right? If you don't know, go search up SB mowing on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, because it'll make your heart warm.
Your day. Yeah, it'll make your day. You're 100% right. There are more people trying to do good in this world and in your community than you are hearing about, because the loudest voices are if it leads, it bleeds mentality. Yes. And so you just assume that everybody is in this mindset too. It's not true. In fact, people are absolutely desperate right now. And I'm experiencing this with a lot of clients, which is they're absolutely desperate for human connection. That's not either over a Zoom call. They're looking for coffee dates. They're looking for small events that they can get back to connecting and looking at someone's eyes and seeing someone's reaction in real time and getting a smile out of somebody. That is what is the trend that I'm seeing everywhere. That includes in-person events and small gatherings, but they want to feel like they're doing something great. And they need to feel as if there are other great people doing that work in order to maximize their joy. Seek them out. They exist everywhere. But if you're going to go down these certain rabbit holes and you're just going to assume that everything is terrible, of course, you're going to find the people who think life is terrible. And you're like, God, everyone sucks. They don't. There's a certain small segment of the population does, for sure. But most people want to do good. Most people want to help. They don't know how. And your organization's probably primed and ready to embrace them and invite them into the fold, but you go find them and realize that it's not all doom and gloom. I promise you.
I love that. Okay. I feel like we have a lot of good stuff here. And so let me see if I can kind of capture some of these major takeaways, and you let me know if you have one that I didn't note.
Love it.
All right. So first of all, and this might be my favorite, is think of fundraising as just meeting cool people. Like literally reframe it and just bring that mindset, you know? So I love that. And then human beings tend to just assume, we assume a lot, right? And so actually talking to your donors, to your supporters will help you understand where people are actually at instead of having just the anxiety thoughts about it in your mind. And then many people just don't know how to help. Assume people want to help and they maybe just don't know how. So simply just give them the chance. I think those are 3 huge value bombs for people, especially who are feeling distraught, anxious, or down about fundraising right now or anytime. Did I miss anything there?
No, you nailed it. And I love that it's condensed down to 3 things. Because again, I think you know this, nonprofiteers and fundraisers in particular are doing 10,000 things every day. They're wearing 10,000 different hats. Giving you 48 things to work on is not helpful at all. So pick one of those 3 things and then just roll into it for the rest of the week, because I think it'll change your perspective, it'll change your outlook, and it'll give you a little bit of motivation to fundraise in a different way that's just kind of being timid or scared or worried. It's more enthusiastic by giving people opportunities to have conversations with you and to eventually support you for whatever that is, time, talent, or treasure.
Yeah. Now, folks, you can obviously tell how charming Patrick is and what a good teacher he is. And can you imagine just reading a book in this man's voice? And I need to let everybody know that you have a book out. And so where can people get that?
I sure do. Thank you very much for saying. So it's called Fundraise Like a Fifth Grader. It's on Amazon. You can find it right now. My kid was doing some fundraising a couple of months ago, probably almost a half a year ago. And I realized as they were running down the block asking total strangers for money and $20 bills, that they had a joy about raising funds for their school that we have lost as adults. So I took all the traits that I see out of all of my kids and I just put them into order from be curious, be brave, be enthusiastic, be honest, be a team player, like all these traits that we have as kids that somewhere along the line, some adult told us that we were being too much, too loud, too creative at some point. We've taken that to heart. And I want you to reset your brain and fundraise like a kid would And that book is all about that. So you can find it on Amazon. It's been a joy to write. It's been a real joy to see people read it and latch on to one or two of these things. And it's been a blast so far.
Yes. Y'all need to get it, and then you need to share it with your board so they let you go do the things that you want to do.
Hard facts. Yes.
Patrick, thank you so much
Yes.
for being here. You are a gem. It is always a joy to have you here. Do you have a website? Where can people find you?
Yeah, dogoodbetterconsulting.com is where you can find all the fun shenanigans that we do, and we help with nonprofits. Book links are available there as well. Thank you, by the way. This whole podcast and just giving little nuggets of information for nonprofits is so invaluable. And it's a joy to be on it, number one. It's really a joy to kind of see you, and we don't do it enough. And I think I need probably a second home near you so that we can have this vibe all the time. I know. And we just need to figure it out.
Seriously. Listen, folks, if you enjoyed the nuggets, if you enjoyed the shenanigans, just do me a huge favor. Share this episode with a friend. Maybe leave a 5-star rating, review. You know, like if you have 2 seconds, it would super help me out. And if you have a question or a story to share, I want to hear from you. I want to help other people get the nuggets of wisdom from your story. So get at me at charitytherapy.show. And thanks for listening.